Hey guys, it's been a while, huh? This is Forgecraft 2, the very new map. I've actually been on the server playing for roughly a week and a half now. Not that my base looks like much because it's all packed away on the shoreline over there, as you can see. Because it was looking like a junkyard and I wanted to clean it up before we got started here. So, welcome to episode 1. I want to try something a bit different this time through. I want to try organising the episodes a little bit better. They're still going to be stream of consciousness, but they're going to have a start and an end. And I'm going to mostly focus on building, I think, or try to anyway. We'll see how well that goes. You know, best laid plans often go awry. So, let's take a look at the things that I did over the past week and a half. First things first. I have headed up on most of the Forgecraft research for the server. Most of it's gone into all the basic infrastructure for Forgecraft. There are some areas where I took some liberties, got up to fortress armor. Haven't started on golems at all. Always take my time with golems. I started in Thormic tinkering. I got all the enchantments. Got all of Apocrypha so far, although some of it unlocks as you discover new things, so there might be stuff that I'm missing, but I have all of it so far. I have unlocked Eldritch because of the amount of research I've done. Apocrypha from Forbidden Magic helps a lot with getting the warp necessary for that. Haven't done any Apiaromancy. I have got the enchantments from Thormic Esoterica, which is from Thormic Exploration, I think. And haven't started on the AOBD, or Another One Bites the Dust page, which is just native cluster integration for Forgecraft between other metals from Another One Bites the Dust. So in usual fashion, let's take a look at the mods that we've got on the server this season. We have Agricraft. So for those of you not familiar with Agricraft, it is a planting mod. If you're familiar with the Industrial Craft 2 method for doing crop growing and stuff, it takes a lot of inspiration from that. I don't know whether the inspiration is directly involved or the inspiration came separately to the different authors. But it does resemble the Industrial Craft stuff quite a lot. If you've been watching my Agrarian Skies series, you've been seeing me do a lot of Agricraft. I'm going to try and stop hopping around like a maniac. We've got Another One Bites the Dust, which is just integration into different mods for different kinds of dust. So we have Yellorium and stuff for factorization, nickel, tungsten. We also have the same deal for Forgecraft, and the same deal for IC2. We have the latest versions of Applied Energistics. I don't know whether the what of these are or are not available to you. I think because we're getting towards the mature stages of 1.7 as 1.8 comes around, less and less of the stuff we have on Forgecraft is actually inaccessible to you, so I think most of it is currently accessible to you guys. We have Buildcraft, we have Bibliocraft, with its new furniture paneler system, which is pretty cool. We might use some of that. We have Biblio Woods for forestry and natura. We have natura on here, obviously. As you can see, as Vaygrim calls them, we have cloud snakes. I think it's cloud snakes, or is it cloud worms? He calls them something along those lines. We have blue power. Oh, I seem to have gone past some stuff. Big reactors. We have Binny's stuff. These are really awesome, these compartments. I really want to start using them. We have Biomes Plenty, obviously. We have Blood Magic, we have Blue Power, Botania. All of these are probably familiar to you guys by now. We have Botany, which is Binny's flowers and trees growing stuff. We have more Buildcraft tabs. We have Carpenter's blocks, Chicken Chunks, and Chisel 2. We also have Computercraft, Decocraft. Oh, Decocraft's an awesome one. This is by Razzleberry Fox. She is fantastic. She makes lots of awesome little voxel models and stuff. I need to make clay to be able to show you, so we'll get into all that, but maybe you guys can make out some of the awesome models here, and maybe I'll do a flyby of some bases just to get you a good look at things. We have Dense Wars, which is always a fan favourite. Doors from Achin, which is just cool looking doors, basically. Different kinds of doors. We have Ender IO, we have Ender Storage, e.t.c, Equivalent Exchange 3. This is a big deal for the server. This is Parma's first releases for Equivalent Exchange 3. He now has the backbone of the mod pretty well defined, which is what he's been working on this whole time. And now he's able to dynamically assign EMC values to things, and I'll show you some really cool stuff to do with that very shortly. We have extra bees, extra trees, extra utilities. I don't think there's much new in extra utilities. Tim has kind of been hard to get hold of lately. We have extra cells for applied logistics, which allows you to store liquid and make walruses, amongst other things. We have extra Tinker's tools, or extra Tinker's construct actually is its full name, which adds things like Pocophenium, Red Aurum, Drellor, and a whole bunch of other things, and adds some cool properties and mixes. It has a lot of mod integration actually with Tinker's construct in general. That's done by Glassmaker. He's a really cool dude. We have factorization, Finitus Fillies, Flat Signs, Forbidden Magic. Forbidden Magic's by one of my favourite authors. This one is by Spiteful Fox. He's a cool dude. We have Forestry, Forge Microblocks, Funky Locomotion. Forbidden Magic, by the way, is what gave me the Apocrypha tab in my Thaumonomicon. We have Gendustry, which is basically the only way that I'm ever going to touch bees ever. We have Genetics, which is yet more awesomeness from Binny. We have Hat Stands. We have Iguana Tinker's Tweaks. This is obviously some craziness to do with how our tools level and change outside of the normal Tinker's Construct stuff. We have Immersive Engineering. Now this is another really huge mod addition. This one is one of my favourite mods so far, and it is the stuff that does stuff like these water wheels and these wires, connectors, transformers, all the way down to powering our machines and things. This is by Blue Sunrise, and its art is by Mr. Hazard. So that is a very, very cool mod. And the Steam and Steel crew, my crew, are very admiring of these guys for the work they're doing, because we like pretty things, and immersive engineering is very pretty, and I'll show you more of that going forward. We have Industrialcraft 2, Iron Chests, Jabber, Magic Bees, and Mysterious Ages has been hard at work on tweaking and creating new stuff for Magic Bees, like his VC Apiary booster, the Magic Apiary, and he's also got a whole lot of awesome tie-in stuff with Botania, which is really, really cool to see. I don't think we have the Botania stuff yet, though. I think he has to yet put that on the server. We have Menagerie, which is another Tema mod. Adds different kinds of monsters to the world. We have Minecraft, always a fantastic mod to have. Mine Factory Reloaded, which is a testing mod, which is very abusable by iguana tweaks, but it creates a dummy to see damages and things and stuff. Forgecraft, Natura, Nuclear Control 2, Obsidian Plates, Open Blocks, Open Peripheral Add-ons, Pam's Harvestcraft. What else have we got? Oh, I've gone past some stuff. New Metacraft, Quetzi's thing for Blue Power, Railcraft, Redstone Arsenal, Reliquary, Shadows of Phasis, which is pretty cool. This stuff is TTFT Cuts mod that he's working on. It's a really cool mod. It's got really hard puzzles in them, ones that I just personally can't wrap my brain around, but they are fantastic. So I think for you puzzle nerds out there, you're going to really enjoy Shadows of Phasis, and it's going to be growing more and more. Steve's add-ons, which is for Steve's Factory Manager. It lets you copy managers as well as label your managers. Also lets you do energy transfer and stuff through your manager cables. Steve Carts 2. Steve's Factory Manager, obviously. Storage drawers, which is just a really fun and beautiful storage method. I'm using them right here. They're like 4 barrels in one. They've got less space than a single barrel in each one of these boxes, but still, it's very cool. You can also have half drawers, so rather than having 4 you have 2, or single drawers, which are more like barrels. And also you have the compacting drawer, which is amazing. I love the compacting drawer. The drawer controller, which lets you interact with the bank, as it says. And the controller slave, which I'm not entirely sure how you use the controller slave. We have Sync, Thorncraft, Thormic Exploration, Thormic Tinkerer, Twilight Forest, Thermodynamics, Thermal Expansion Foundation, Tinker's Construct, Tinker's Mechworks, Translocators, Villagers Nose, Witchery, and Wireless Redstone. So, that's the mods we've got on the server at the moment, which is pretty cool. I have this Umbral Rosebush here. So I'm going to take you through the things that I've actually managed to do and pack away in these boxes. I've got quite far in Immersive Engineering. In fact, I've got the furthest you can in Immersive Engineering at the moment. The mod is still quite small at the moment because it's only just kind of become ready for testing. But it's fantastic. Here's some more stuff that I've done. They have purely aesthetic stuff in the mod, which is cool. These structural cable connectors, which have ropes between them. These are hemp fiber ropes. As I mentioned, I got quite far in Thorncraft. I've got quite far in Tinkers. As you can see, I've got my Manual sword, my Cobalt pick, my Cobalt shovel, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I have a tier 4 blood altar packed away somewhere in one of these boxes. Here it is. Here's my tier 4 blood altar. What else? I made myself up to a large smeltery. I've got plenty of resources. And yada yada yada. So, I think we're ready to actually get something started. Now, the first thing that I wanted to do, what I kind of want to do is I kind of want to make sure that, well, let's take an overview of the area anyway. We've got this big swamp, and this is my episode platform. we've got this big swamp, and I want to build the base kind of on the edge of the river, right? I've also made this artificial river myself, which comes through here, goes upstream, comes right round, bends back, excuse the loud traffic outside, and is gathered up from this waterfall that would normally be going into the stream out of here. Yes, it's artificial, but I'm going to make that look a bit better in the future. A lot of this actually needs to be tweaked and made more pretty and stuff like that, but it's just the basics at the moment. So this is the artificial river I built, and I filled it using a floodgate from Buildcraft, by the way, if you're wondering. So I live in a magical forest, and that means we're going to have a magical bent to things going forward, I think. And one of the first things I want to do, and as you can see here, I am feeding a node, which is not ready yet. I need to get Walia kind of in the way. Well, I guess we can look at Walia to get what I need. You can see Pediccio and air at the bottom there. I need to get Pediccio to just above 25 and air to just about 25, and then I'll energize the thing, and then we can have all 6 elements to run power or these through the base, right? So the first thing I think we want to build is we want to build like a small powerhouse. Also, I showed you these structural cables, but I completely passed over why these cables are here. That is a hungry node. It has done all this damage all by itself. So this hungry node is happily sitting there, and it's going to be fed later on in the series. We're going to turn that into a crazy powerful node and replace this thing. This is just our initial Forgecraft energized node, or what's being prepped to be our initial Forgecraft energized node. So I'm thinking we're going to build our first magical tower, and this is where our source of e.t.c is going to come from. It's going to come from a tower that's sitting somewhere in here. So I thought the very first thing we could do this episode is do that. So first things first, we need to get rid of this tree. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I have a super builder's wand. T-Fox gave it to me. Is he on at the moment? No, he's not. As you can see, the server is nice and popular at the moment. I'm not on TeamSpeak because no one's really on TeamSpeak that's recording at the moment. You're on for social reasons. I don't want to fill up their TeamSpeak with my recording. So, there you go. But there are plenty of people on. We have a nice busy server. It's been busy since we started, which means that people are really enjoying the server so far. Is that the only tree we're going to have to clear? It's the only one we're going to have to clear for now anyway. I'm just going to clear off this dirt as well. And then we're going to make our energized node tower. So how we're going to do that is, let's go deal with things. My inventory is very full of ethereal essence because I've been destroying sinister nodes in order to get at the ethereal essence inside, because it's the best source of aurum, other than wisps. Do I have anything? May as well just double click everything. That's one way of finding out. I've got a bunch of andesite because that's one of the block types I want to use. Anything else that goes in there? No. Music discs. Yellow heart. Wand focus. Needs to go in my focus pouch. Inventory management with Rorax. Don't need that potato seed. Are we good? I think we're good. Not quite. Now we're good. Alright. So we need a bunch of cobble. Because I have some basic idea of what the structure is going to look like in my head. But let's do some planning anyway, and we'll do the planning down here. So I think for the most part the tower is not really going to be human accessible. It's just going to kind of be there for the sake of containing the energized node, which will have these lines coming out of it. And I think the way that we're going to do that is we're going to have kind of a circular tower, but not really. So somewhere at the top it's going to be there. So what's our basic top-down floor plan? That's what I'm thinking. It's not going to be too big, so let's come out 3 on each side. This marks where the center of the tower is and where the node will sit. So this is what I mean by not being really circular. It's going to be more of a octagon. Okay, so I think that's going to be a decent shape for it. And then going up, and we can shape it as we go up, which is all fine and dandy. So it's not just one octagon cylinder. The reason I'm using cobble is because one of the things I decided to do is make sure everything has a foundation on it. There's a lot of junk. Okay. So we're not going to be too fussy about where we put it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That just marks out where I'm putting things. Log, log, log. The logs just help it look like it's a an intentionally built and strong foundation. Cobblestone. Okay. Now, because this isn't really going to be a human accessible tower, it's not going to really have an inside to it. So whatever we end up doing, it's not really going to have doors on it. I think the way we'll show that is we need to go and get some andesite actually, and pull my chisel out of my resonance satchel. And then we'll pull the andesite out of here. So andesite is a 1.8 block, but a couple of mods, including Chisel and Botania, have been pulling 1.8 blocks forward for us to enjoy in 1.7. And andesite is one of those blocks, and I think they actually did a fantastic job with andesite, to be honest. So we're just going to put a decent base on this. And then we're going to go in and have the tower go up in like a thin manner and back out again. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to use cobble for the bits that aren't going to be seen. Oh, no, those are going to be seen. I'm also going to use carpenter's blocks to make this more of an octagon. this is the bit where I am just going with what I feel like going with. I've not actually got any idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to do and see how it comes out. Now the entire building shouldn't be made out of andesite, just to make sure that we're breaking up the texture. It's part of the reason why we have a visible foundation on it. Tree, please. And it's not going to be an absolutely massive tower, although it should go up a bit higher than that, I think. Probably like 3-ish more blocks before we start building the cap back out. Maybe even taller again. Andesite pillars. I don't actually know whether the pillars will be part of 1.8. I think these are the work of Drolculus, or Drolcus, or Cricket maybe. I'm not sure who's doing the textures on these. But I think things like the pillars are unique to the 1.7 version. And then we can build back out again, like this. Okay. And of course, we have to make a couple of blocks that we're going to have to remove. It's okay though. So we'll remove you, and you, and you, and you. These and those. Okay, now we have the body of the thing sorted, which, by the way, not quite. There's something I want to do that I haven't prepared for this episode for, and that's go and get some of this quarried stone. It's a Railcraft material, but it's quite nice looking. So I'm going to pull out my hammer, put away the lumber axe, and get some quarried stone. So quarried stone is really gorgeous. We can turn it into quarried blocks, and it's from quarried blocks that you make the other kinds. You can turn quarried stone into ornate quarried stone slabs. We actually just look up quarried stone. It's showing us here anyway. We can make fitted quarried stone blocks, and chisel can do everything as well. We're probably going to be using the quarried brick though. I'm glad we don't have to go through the smeltery, because I've got none of that set up. So as mentioned, I'm going to keep the format similar, so there's not going to be any cuts where not necessary. I'm just going to keep playing and digging and doing whatever. But hopefully you guys enjoy watching me just muck about. maybe you enjoy going to sleep to the dulcet tones of myself. I get a lot of comments about how relaxing it is to watch my videos, and that actually makes me really happy. Because at least I'm entertaining in some way, and being relaxing is something that I quite like. I do admit I watch ASMR on occasion. I enjoy going to sleep to ASMR. So if I have that kind of quality for you, I'm glad. But if you actually watch me and enjoy the content and learn something along the way, that's cool too. That's where I started out anyway. This might be enough for now to get started. I really need to make myself a sleeping bag because, nah, too many people on. Someone else would have to sleep at the same time. So let's chisel. And I do need to smelt them. That's a shame. So let's quickly handle that. Already got a couple of furnaces, but I'll make some more to speed this up. And thanks to immersive engineering, I actually have some coal coke, which is nice. Somewhere, there it is. So coal coke is just basically double coal. I'm just going to fit these out, because I definitely don't want to be using quarried stone straight from the source, although it can look nice too. It's just not going to suit this particular build very well. We'll just leave that one empty, whatever. Don't think I have enough stacks of quarried stone to really make up for it anyway. Nope. So I'm just going to wait here until there's a small supply of the quarried blocks. Reason being is I just want to muck around with the designs that we're going to do on the rest of the tower body. And I think I'm going to put a wooden roof over the top, which is where the node is going to be. Okie doke. With their powers combined, they should have a bit for me. $28, that should be enough for me to muck around with. So we want to start with bricks, because that's what I feel like will probably suit this the best. Who knows though, I could be totally wrong. And let's just do that. So we've got a 5x3 here plus the pillar in the middle, so really we're going to be looking at it kind of like this. And this is going to let me kind of, although I probably should have chosen to do this side rather than that side. So I could look at the tower from back here. Right now I've got this tree in the way. I don't want to get rid of the tree though. I think it's quite nice having the trees hugging the structures. Anyway, let's think about this. So our quarried stone options are the small bricks, which is what we're using, the large bricks, the blocks, and the quarried stone, and of course the etched quarried stone. So actually, you know what? Haha. get some Lux and Terra research points while I'm at it. So what I'm thinking is these bottom ones, maybe they'll look good as polished brick after all, right? So let's try that. These quarry blocks, because then it creates kind of like this transition between the andesite blocks to the quarried blocks, and we can build up some. There, I'll go get some more quarried blocks to work with. Oh, that wasn't meant to happen. We'll just leave that as is. Wasteful, I know. So we've got these nice quarried blocks along the bottom, and then I think we're going to build them up against the side of the pillar, like this. Just again, one of those things I like to do to try and create depth in the layout. And then I think we're going to go with these fitted quarried stones on top. We're going to leave that one without the fitted quarried stone. This kind of creates a gradation of texture. From the least noisy to the most noisy. And hopefully that'll have a nice effect when we stand back in a second. Did not mean to remove that piece of pillar. Yep. I would like those, thank you very much. So yeah, that looks quite nice. I think I will put this here after all. Yeah. Remember, we're going to mix some carpenter's blocks in here to smooth things out a bit as well. So let's change those back to polished and go in the other direction. 1, 2, 1, 2. We need to get one in the corner. Like that. Let's just remove those. Turn them into fitted. I'll make these fitted while I'm at it. Whoa. Keep catching on the tree as I go past. Throws me off. And once again we're out. So we need to go back to only doing one or two sides at a time. Cool. They have a lot more for us. So let's change them into brick. Then once I've actually filled out the sides, I'll have a better idea of whether the pattern is working or not, and how I can change it. Oh, I missed a fitted. No. No way. Inventory tweaks being as unhelpful as possible. Again. Tends to stick things to your mouse and give you the wrong item. So I think the pattern's working. What I might do is get some fitted quarried stone and stick that on the middle. Right around the middle, like a ring. Hopefully once I start getting carpenter's blocks into the mix here, it'll start to look real nice. Okay. Do I have any more andesite pillars left? I don't. Let's get some andesite pillar. I'm going to put one there, there, and there, and there. This is where I start creating depth in the build, so it doesn't look so plain. So we have mixed layers on the actual object itself. I'm going to start including our friends, the carpenter's blocks, very shortly, I think. It's already got 2 and 2. And that's everything. Yep. So the tower is looking sufficiently chunky, which is nice, but it still has some depth in the curve, and the curve is going to be brought out more in the carpenter's blocks, which I'm just about to go fetch. They are in here, so we want our slopes for now. Just the slopes. Now hopefully, because the carpenters prioritize side textures, and that works perfectly. Excellent. You can make them prioritize up and top and bottom ones. You kind of have to go in a funny angle, although I think these might not. Okay, cool. And this is what I meant by making it appear more octagonal. So we're actually going to smooth out these sides here. A lot of people call this kind of thing against Minecraft's nature because you're adding in too much geometric detail into the world. You're exiting the space of the square, but I disagree. I think as long as the game is lo-fi enough, you're perfectly fine. So the bottom ones are going to be cobble. And really, we don't need this layer of, or those 2 andesite blocks basically that are trapped inside there, but it doesn't really matter. So do we have any andesite blocks? We don't. You're going to need more than that, I think. Looks a lot more octagonal now. We can also jazz up the detail on this tower by including smaller bits, smaller than 1 block unit obviously, those being things like microblocks. Out of the way, bag. And that cap, by the way, isn't just going to be 1 block height. It's going to be similar to this bottom and be like 2 or 3 high. Now the question is, do I want to smooth out the white section of the tower, or do I want to keep it blocky while keeping the top and bottom octagonal? I think the answer is to keep this blocky. I didn't finish the ring, did I? I did 2 sides of the ring. Whoops. Let's fix that. In a second here, guys, I'm going to have to stop the recording because we're well and truly over time. But I think what I'll do is I'll just finish off putting the carpet blocks on the top, and that will be where I finish up. So that's looking quite nice. I missed a piece of pillar. Let's just do 3. Let's make this thing basically a vertical mirror of itself, because it's going to have the wooden roof on the top anyway. Okay, we need to make more slopes soon. Don't worry about the carpenter's blocks being silly. They are either sometimes silly, or the server is just not getting the message straight away. And if you didn't know that you can control carpenter's blocks in the way that they arrange, you can. I'm making sure that these are diagonally aligning themselves like this by placing them on the inside corner of 2 blocks. If you go too far to the bottom of the block or too far to the top of the block, then it does what it did in the bottom corner there where I had to replace it. So let's just get a stack and a half of you, and I need to make some sticks. Just make the whole lot. Right, now we have a lot more carpenter slopes to work with. I'm just going to trash these 6 other sticks because I don't have much of base to work from, as you can see. Otherwise I would be storing them. See, I placed it too far to the bottom, and then because I did that, the top one got confused because there was another block there it could align to. So always try and center it before you place it against the back corner. When you shake the rust off, you can be quite quick at doing it. It's quite nice that the author of Carpenter's Blocks put in such a nice user-friendly feature like that. Okay, so let's go about putting the extra blocks on, which I've already run out. Wow. Maybe I chucked them out of my inventory accidentally. Alright, so that is the tower base. We're going to put the tower cap on it next episode and then continue. But I think that looks really nice. It really suits the magical forest too, having these kind of white stone constructions come out of them, and we're going to have the roof made out of great wood as well, which is this stuff over there. So, that's been episode 1. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!